Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Hope you're having an amazing day. We're taking a look here at Bitcoin, of course, just trying to understand the best practice, big picture. We are going to look at some high block capital data here with liquidation levels, open interest, etc. Kind of just make sure we keep you well informed on the back end stuff because a lot of times that does factor in. Furthermore, as well, we have been range bound for almost 18 days now, and we got to recognize that a lot of alts are kind of sporadically jumping up and down, and it's a very tough market to trade right now. So please be cautious and careful in what you're doing. Wait and be patient. Find the good entries and try not to just be impatient because it can be easy to do while you're range bound. But a significant breakup or breakdown is absolutely what we're hoping for. So until that happens, just know that there's going to be a lot less availability for opportunities. Okay. That being said, let's take a quick peek here, of course, at the larger time frames. Kind of work our way down. The monthly is looking favorable here. We're kind of trending right at 50 on the RSI, which is great. Got a MACD convergence on the horizon. Likely another couple months if this continues the way that it has, we should see the price action break upwards. So 30,000 is, I think, an inevitability. Now, are we going to retest lower lows or lower highs, essentially kind of go in the low 20,000 range? There's potential for that as well. But you got to keep in mind, we've closed like almost 3 doji candles here so far in a row. Obviously, this week is early, but we've got 2 leading into it. A lot of times that indecision will cause a price action to pull back. So I do not love the fact that we're seeing this right now, but on the same accord, it is kind of is what it is, if you will. And just one of those things where it's not completely bearish by any stretch, but 2 doji candles leading into a weekly closure. That does tell me that we are having difficulty breaking that plane. Granted, we have had points where there's been like 2 months of doji candles that didn't break out or break down anyway, right? So again, we could continue this trend, but generally speaking, we're probably going to be able to reject off that level. And there's decent more chance of 25,300 getting retested, the most recent high, before we leg up again. I would like to see that, honestly, to get a better buy-in, obviously, and then of course just some options for long-term, so swing trades, if you will. Okay, but for right now, range bound, I think you get the point. That being said, taking a look at the daily, we are above 70 on the RSI, but we see a lot of money flowing out of the market right now. Okay, that happens when a lot of selling pressure is on. So keep that in mind. We got selling pressure plus the MACD still diverging. We are absolutely more so still bearish, in my personal opinion, in the short-term time frame than we are the other way around. Okay, we are retesting 20 on the simple moving average. That's typically the first support level that works concurrent with ascending trends in most cases. So this is a very important thing. If we close below the 20-day SMA, great chance we'll see the price action decrease from there to possibly retest this range here once again between 24.5 and 25.7. It's kind of like this little sweet spot where we have the most amount of volume based on previous resistance and turn support. Okay, but either way, 50-day SMA is averaging itself out there as well. So that leads me to believe that we'll see that if we lose this range of 27.5 to 29,000. Okay, so that's kind of where we're at there on the daily. On the 4-hour, we're kind of wavering above and below 50 in the RSI. We've got a potential convergence on the MACD here. This is where the conflicting information comes into play. The most recent 12 to 24 hours is telling us it's going to turn bullish and continue upwards, whereas a larger time frame tells us that we're losing momentum and it makes more sense to go down. So what's more important? Well, the 4 hour is important on from a day trading perspective if you're going to be getting in and out here soon. But big picture wise, it makes a lot more sense to focus on the daily as a major catalyst there because the likelihood of, I think, downside makes a lot more sense. But again, this is proving here that we are establishing higher lows, but we're also closing with parallel highs. So a lot of times when you see that happen, it could be an ascending type of wedge breakout. It could also be just a double bottom, double top, however you will, and the price action comes down lower. Okay, so again, a lot of conflicting information there. I don't truly love trading in this type of scenario until we have established higher highs or higher lows, and we break previous resistance or support levels, and we haven't done that yet. Kind of just trending right at that range. Before we get into the 1 hour, in fact, let me circle back here to the high block capital before I forget, so you can kind of see what that looks like. Once again, we have the most amount of liquidation data. If this is the last week, by the way, last 7 days of trading, the most amount of liquidation occurred at 27,300. We know that because a lot of longs got hit very hard with that candle wick down. Price has since recovered, but once again, we have a decent amount of volume at 29.5. Okay, so that being said, minus the obvious 25,300 range here, and the potential of 22,700, we are looking at pretty strong support at 27.3, or just say round number 27,000 even. That said, in the last 24 hours, we can see a lot of liquidation here, of course, for the long positions, and then obviously here for the open interest, we can see that there's the most amount of open interest in the last 12. This is the last 12 hours, right there at about 28,200, which is pretty much exactly where the price action is at right now. Okay, so really just holding at that support level. Open interest is down, and the amount of asks over bids is higher. So that means more people are asking for selling opportunities than they are buying opportunities right now. Okay, fear and greed index is kind of plateaued there, right in the 60 range, which is perfectly fine. But generally speaking, we have slightly more longs getting liquidated than shorts. So what does all this mean? That really just kind of tells us that we're still leaning more towards bearish than bullish signs. But again, the last 24 hours has proven to be fairly strong, whereas we have TD sequential telling us we have this overextension to the upside here, slight period of consolidation followed by a retest here of that resistance level. Okay, so keep in mind, trend lines can work adversely as well. If you're on the wrong side of the tracks, it could push the price action down soon. So keep in mind that we are in a position right now where that could very well happen. So again, slightly more bearish signs than bullish signs in my personal opinion, based on what we see here so far. All fundamental catalysts aside, that's kind of where we're at. Taking a look at the Ichimoku cloud, we can kind of see that we are tentatively above that. Conversion line's above the baseline. Lagging span's kind of free of the price action, so in truth, we have a potential buy signal here. But I would, if you're going to buy right now, make sure you have really tight profit targets. If you're going to be using leverage, I would get in and out before the 28.5 mark, just because that seems to be a pretty strong resistance area. We've seen the price action is very difficult time getting above that level. Okay, so what I'm looking for here, me personally, for validation is to kind of see some type of closure, either above or below the current price point. You know, again, above 28,000 is good, or down below as well. So that's kind of where we're at there in the overall sense of things. I hope that we're all looking good here for you as well, based on your position sizing. But just keep in mind, if you are trading right now, it's a very crazy environment. It's important for you to make sure that you be careful and cautious with your trades. Okay. So again, if you do want to become a better trader, have an amazing community at your back. CryptoCash.tech is a website. We've got a lot of partners here, of course. If you want to consider becoming a community member, we have a lot of trading competitions within BitGet and Bybit, and obviously, more important, we have an amazing Discord community. Be sure to check that out in your own time. Thanks again so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of the day. We'll see you in the next one. Take care.